of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And this afternoon from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, it's a day game, the rubber game between the Tampa Bay Rays and the St. Louis Cardinals. With the Cardinals' dramatic win last night, they stay 4.5 back of Chicago. Milwaukee is 3 out in the Central Division. Jim Hayes is here. That's Rick Horton. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Cardinals baseball, the final game of this homestand and the final game of this 3-game series against Tampa Bay. The BJC Healthcare difference makers, let's break it down. The starters for both clubs.
Very good pitching matchup today. The Cardinals go with Lance Lynn. He has been terrific since the 9th of July. 9 starts, 4-0, ERA under 2, and he's quality start after quality start. The Cardinals need him to go deep so they can save their bullpen. On the other side, it's Chris Archer. He's a 2-time All-Star. He's a strikeout guy. He's been very good his last 2 times out. 20 strikeouts in his last 2 outings.
Chris Archer, Lance Lynn, the Cardinals, the Tampa Bay Rays. It's interleague play, and coming up before our first pitch, we'll take a look at some walk-offs for the Cardinals against the Rays, including last night. Baseball coming up. It is game number 3, a day game. Beautiful afternoon, big crowd, the Rays and Cardinals. We've had some excitement in this series and over the years against Tampa Bay. Let's take a look back. In the air, left center field. Will it carry out of here? It is gone! Home run, and the Cardinals win it.
Fly ball into left. And he can't get to it out there. And the Cardinals are going to win this one, and a celebration.
Bam, a drive. Left center. Let's go on home. Walk off. Tommy Pham. Cardinals win it. The most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. For all, for less. Hero last night, Rick Horton, Tommy Pham, and he's in left field today.
What a great moment that was, and we were hoping for a walk-off home run. We got what we hoped for, and Tommy Pham been such an important part of the Cardinal offense. I think he's given passion to this team, and just love the way he plays both offensively and defensively. We also like what he does on the base paths.
Lance Lynn is on the mound for the Cardinals. The Hyundai pitch arsenal. We talk about it every 5th day. A lot of fastballs.
Yeah, if you followed Lance Lynn at all, you know that's what you're going to get. Last time out, he actually got in trouble with his command a bit. He hit 2 batters. That led to 4 runs and a start that was not a quality start. But lately, that's all he's been, is quality starts. Very tough on right-handed batters, hitting just 193.
Last start was 4 innings in 6 innings, 4 runs in 6 innings, an eventual 12-4 Cardinals loss to the Padres. A look at the Rays lineup. Kiermaier, Souza, Longoria, then Morrison, Dickerson, Echeverria, Miller, Sucre, and Archer. Kevin Cash in his 3rd season as the manager of the Rays, just 39 years of age. He's the youngest manager in the game.
And he's from Tampa Bay. And when you think Tampa Bay Major League managers, you think Lou Piniella and, of course, Tony La Russa.
And Joe Madden.
I didn't know that. He's from Tampa Bay originally? No. But he
wasn't
wasn't
guys that are in Tampa Bay, and they kind of call it home, and I'm stretching. You know, that's how I do it.
I'm with you, Dan. I'm with you now.
Lou Piniella, Tony La Russa, natives of Tampa Bay. Here's Kevin Kiermaier, and the 1-0 pitch. This would be a lineup that Tampa Bay, we've noticed it in just 2 nights, but they really grind through their at-bats. They have a lot of long games, 3-2 counts, those kinds of things.
And a lot of strikeouts and a lot of home runs. In fact, they are second in all of baseball in strikeouts, and I don't think they care. Milwaukee Brewers are first, and I know they don't care. It's 2017 baseball. Let's see how far we can hit it.
2 balls and 1 strike on Kiermaier, hitting .265. He's popped 10 home runs. He's driven in 28. And he yanks that foul. We both do a lot of different functions here at the ballpark and across town, whether it be charitable or just something involved with the club. And one of the questions that's asked time and again, will Lance Lynn come back as a St. Louis Cardinal in 2018? Every fan is thinking that.
No question they're thinking that.
Liner, and it's off the glove of the third baseman today, Greg Garcia. Well, that was an odd play there.
I think he must have lost that. There's no answer for that. He has good hands at third. That must have been in maybe a low, some kind of low signage or something, because that's a catchable ball. And at the last second, he turns his head away from the ball as if he can't really see where it is. He started to stumble early. That's not sure how that's going to be ruled, but that's a play he should have made.
Jed Jerko was hurt in the 8th inning last night, out with a hamstring, so he's on the DL, and Luke Voit has been called up by the Cardinals. Here's Steven Souza Jr. So base hit for Kiermaier and a threat to steal. Ground ball. Garcia to second, the turn, and safe at first.
Well, as a fielder, when you don't make a play, you can't wait for a ball to be hit to you next. Well, it took 1 pitch. Garcia gets another one, fields it flawlessly with the open stance. So he's got a good throw to second base, quick turn. There's that open stance. That's a great look at what a third baseman needs to do to make sure that throw is effective, and the close play at first not in time.
I also think it was a good look that you see how a second baseman does not have to worry anymore about a runner putting him into left field. Just make the turn.
3 years ago, that's where Colton Wong would be right now.
Cardinals are actually teaching it differently. Ali Marmol was talking about this with me, and Mike Schilt. They teach differently now in the minor leagues about how they receive the ball at second base.
Well, there was a very specific way to teach covering the bag for second baseman. And it included the multiple ways to turn a double play, which included coming through the bag, stepping back towards the outfield, back towards left field, going up in the air. All those were options for a second baseman depending upon where the throw is coming from, situation, etc. And you had to have a feel for that. Now they don't really have to worry about those 4 options, and there's no sense teaching them.
And a check on the runner at first, Steven Souza Jr. Evan Longoria at the plate.
So he doesn't have to worry about backing up or going forward or going up. All he's got to do is catch it and throw.
You a fan of the new slide rule?
Well, actually, more worried about second basemen getting hurt than catchers, but I think I guess I'm a fan of both of them. You don't want to see players hurt, and I don't think it detracts from the game. I don't know that it was the necessary part of the game to send the second baseman into left field. So I am a fan of it.
I think where you get concerned is that you get so comfortable there, and then somebody slides through that bag, and then you had big issues. 0-2 pitch, way inside.
And I'm more worried about that at home, because I think the second base rule is clearer about a player just cannot take out a second baseman. So that's easy. At home, you can kind of, if maybe throws here, this umpiring crew, how we feel about it this month. It's still, you can't get a straight answer from anybody about the collision rule at home plate. That has to be addressed by MLB.
Here's a 1-2. And he did go. Strikeout of Longoria. Right-handed batters come in with a 193 average against Lynn. Third best in baseball. Only Kershaw and Kluber are better. Very tough on the righties.
Here's one of the reasons why he's able to bury that ball in on the hands. You can't hit that ball solidly. It's a strike up until the last minute, and that late movement. And Dan, you know I love to talk about late movement. I think if you can understand late movement from a hitter and a pitcher's point of view, you understand this game better, because that's really what's going on day in and day out at this level.
Logan Morrison, and strike one. Look up and down this lineup, especially the middle for Tampa Bay. Well, Souza is second. He's got 28 home runs. Longoria 17. Morrison 29. Dickerson 25. They've got some thump. Cardinals come in a game above 500. Tampa Bay 3 below. Here's the 0-1. Cardinals defensively behind Lance Lynn with Pham, Fowler, Piscotty in the outfield. Garcia, DeYoung, Wong and Carpenter on the infield, and Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs. Three infielders on the right side. Runner goes. Yadi to second, offline and into center field. Doesn't matter. It's a strikeout of Logan Morrison. So the strikeout back to back, and that ends the top of the first. Cardinals coming up in the home half. Strikeouts on the year, third most in baseball behind Chris Sale and Max Scherzer. He's getting loose, and the Cardinal lineup: Matt Carpenter, Tommy Pham, the hero from last night, Paul DeYoung, Dexter Fowler, Yadier Molina, Colton Wong, Steven Piscotty, Greg Garcia, and Lance Lynn. Carpenter this year a .245 hitter with 16 home runs, and he's driven in 60. Much of that damage done from the leadoff spot. Hyundai pitch arsenal on Chris Archer.
Fastball slider change. The fastball averages about 95 miles an hour. The slider is a wipeout slider. You talked about all the strikeouts, and Flaco Fuerte is who we are watching today. Skinny, strong.
A record of 9-7.
Players having their nicknames, Dan, all weekend that we've been talking about. Players Weekend.
If he can get a 10 strikeout game today, they'll become the first Ray in their history. Think about this, in their history, to strike out 10 hitters in 10 different games in a season. He's tough. Mike Matheny was saying this morning, it reminds him a little bit of Carlos Martinez. Long, wiry, good fastball and the wipeout slider. One ball, one strike on Carpenter. Was at a season ticket holder function in Imsing today. And Michael Gersh, the general manager of the Cardinals, talked about the fact that with Jerko out, you may see Matt Carpenter playing some third base here in the next week or so. Luke Voigt is up. It's a stretch run, trying to get as much offense, as many bats as you can in that lineup.
Really, with 33 games left, counting today, you just have to try whatever works. And if you get a formula that works, the Cardinals had a formula. They won 8 straight games at one point, and everything was clicking, and then they've been about 500 since then.
Carpenter with a fly ball out to left. Corey Dickerson with the shades on makes the catch. Last night, Tommy Pham sent us all home with this home run.
Pitch down, 2 strikes on him. He had battled in that at bat. And what a great way to end a terrific day, celebrating the Hall of Famers, and then you get the walk-off home run. Perfect day at the ballpark yesterday.
It was his 17th of the year. What has been a breakout season for Tommy Pham. Cardinals here in the month of August to coincide with that winning streak you talked about. They're second in baseball, hitting .288 as a team. Trailing only Baltimore, they're batting .299. One ball, one strike. This offseason will be fascinating to see what the Cardinals front office does with the amount of outfielders the organization has.
They have a logjam right now. And not necessarily at the big league level, but you've got guys that are close, if not ready. Magneuris Sierra, Harrison Bader. A lot of outfield pieces, including where we are right now with 4 outfielders. You'd like to play every day if you were the Cardinals, so decisions will have to be made.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cardinals 4.5 back of Chicago, 1.5 back of Milwaukee. And we will be in Milwaukee on Tuesday night. All important 2-game set. And a strikeout to Tommy Pham. Let's get that late break.
There's that similarity to Carlos Martinez too. He's a little more over the top than Carlos, but that late break sharp slider is strikeout number 1. We'll keep track on Archer as we go along. I like that comparison to Martinez because I think they're both Flaco Fuerte. You know, you think of Carlos, he's not a big huge guy, but he's just an overpowering pitcher because he is strong, wiry type pitcher with a arm that's very durable, and that's what you could say about Archer.
DeYoung with a fly ball into right, and a 1-2-3 for Archer. Dickerson, Echeverria, Miller coming up here at Busch Stadium. Beautiful day, and there's no score. Jed Jerko on the right. More on that situation. We check in with Jim.
Dan, as you guys touched on, Jed Jerko goes on the 10-day DL with a right hamstring strain. The GM Michael Gersh told us before the game that Jerko had an MRI on the hamstring and it showed no major issues. Gersh says it's a mild strain. If Jed goes well with his treatment and everything goes according to plan, he could be back in less than 2 weeks. Now, Jed told me he's glad it wasn't a tear, but he hates coming out of the lineup. He said it's tough, especially at this time of year. I think my swing was starting to come back a little bit, so it's disappointing. And Dan, Jed is also still thinking about a run even without him. He told me we have a good team and we're still right there, but they will not have Jed Jerko for a little while. Dan?
All right, Jimmy, thanks. Here's Corey Dickerson at the plate.
You know, when you're dealing with hamstrings, I think a couple of weeks is hopeful, because the problem with hamstrings is you feel okay and then you go to exert yourself again and there it is again, and that's something you're going to have to deal with. But again, you're in the stretch and you pull your hamstring, you've got all off season to kind of bend on it. But I think to expect Jed Jerko to be 100% in 10 days is well, that's hopeful.
He may not be 100% in 10 days, but you activate him, and the reason would be is that you expand the rosters.
Yeah.
So if he can hit,
right,
you can pinch run for him. So that's something to keep in mind too. You may carry an extra player or a guy that could run for him, but allow him to go up and pinch hit in key spots.
Can you think of any guys that could run for him?
I like Sierra. I'll take him.
I thought that's where you were going. I was just helping you along, Dan.
It's interesting too, the Cardinals, and if you follow the minor leagues, and we love to see the young players and what they're doing. Memphis has had just a ridiculously good year, and Springfield and some others are going to be in postseason play. So you balance, if you're the front office, bringing those kids up. There's a base hit to left to help your club up here, or do you keep them down there? For instance, if you're the fifth right-handed option off the bench, but yet a starter in the minor leagues, you probably stay down in the minor leagues, and then when your season's up, come on up.
It seems to me that the minor league season has gotten extended longer and longer. It used to really end right around August 31st, September 1st, but it's actually ending into the month of September. The playoffs are longer, and it just doesn't seem fair to those young guys that that's the deal. It's like, hey, well, here's the bad news. We're not bringing you to the big leagues. The good news is you get to be in the playoffs. I'm not sure how they feel about that. I mean, that. Yes, they want both, really, but it'd be nice if the minor league season could end just a tad sooner.
Here's Adeiny Echeverria. Gary LaRocque, who runs the farm system, goes and speaks to every single team, and he does this throughout the year. And at this point in time, right around July and into August, he says to all of them, I know you're all tired. I know you're all beat up. If you want to get to the big leagues, learn to play late in a season. Figure it out. That's our expectations.
And learn to win. That's a George Kissel-ism from years ago. His comment always was, this is your big leagues. So you have to, whether you're in low A or high A or rookie ball, wherever you are, this is your league to attack and finish strong in. And I think it's a good mental training for young players.
Echeverria with a home run in this series, 3 this year, batting .240, and known for his glove, a slick fielder. Very good shortstop. Out of play, 0-2. We saw 3 home runs hit by the Rays last night, including Echeverria. Into their bullpen, a solo shot. All 3 were solo home runs. And Mike Leake pitching into the 7th inning last night.
That was a hanging slider that he threw to Echeverria, and you look at Mike Leake's outing and you think, boy, he gave up the early runs, but he went deep into that game.
Slowly hit out there, the turn, and safe at first. And immediately Mike Matheny getting the attention of the umpires, and Mike was just asking Matt Carpenter, did you drop it? And I'm not sure if he did or didn't.
Wow, that's close at first base.
He's out.
And the
He's
Cardinals will review this.
Just go to break,
challenge.
Dan. Just go to break.
Well, I would, but there's only 2 outs.
Well, the next guy's going to make an out, too.
Go to break. Roll it.
Just
I
trying
like the turn there by Colton Wong.
Fans now see that he's out. Fans have made their call.
Wong may have been spiked on this play too. Ouch. He was.
So much for not having to worry about somebody come in into second base. Ouch. That may have been a double play anyway.
And now Brad Miller looks at a ball. Lynn now has induced 17 double plays. It's 7th in the National League. His career high is 18. It seems like we don't ever talk about anymore the fact that he has returned from Tommy John surgery and answers the bell every 5th day.
Well, and that goes back to your question about is he a guy that's going to stay a Cardinal or not, and that is yet to be determined by all parties concerned. But if you miss Lance Lynn, you miss a lot of durability. You miss 6-7 innings every start. You miss his competitiveness. You miss his sense of humor. You miss a lot if you lose Lance Lynn.
Have we gotten to the point that you're more valuable in Lance Lynn's case because he's had the surgery and didn't have it? It seems like it's not a question of if somebody will get it, it's when.
Well, I think the only remaining question is the people that have had it twice. I think that's the other.
Yeah.
You have to prove that that's not going to be a recurring thing, which of course is impossible to prove. There have been a number of pitchers that have had 2.
The Boston Red Sox signed John Lackey knowing he was going to have Tommy John surgery, and that's why the Cardinals got him for the league minimum that season. They gave him a monster contract, the Red Sox did, knowing there was a tear in the elbow and there was going to be a give at some point. Just missed and the walk.
Think about when the Cardinals signed Chris Carpenter, and they signed him for a low amount, and he would be in the dugout, and Dan, we would walk by him and who's this guy? He didn't do anything all year, didn't really talk about him, but because of the recommendation of Mike Matheny and Woody Williams, they said, you've got to get this guy. This guy will be a difference maker. Even though he's hurt, sign him, we'll keep him, and you'll be glad you did. And that's Mike as a player and Woody as a player recognizing a good deal when you can get one.
Won the Cy Young and one of the great postseason pitchers in Cardinals history. Right into the glove and then out of the glove of Molina a couple of times. But no damage done, and that's ball 1.
Boy, a lot going on here. This is an errant cutter, and Yachty just misses it. But he has a little pitch back going. Comes right back to him.
Skip Schumacher was saying the other day and talking about the famous Halladay Carpenter matchup in the division series game 5 in Philly of 2011. He said essentially, and he said these guys every game put so much into it, but these two essentially saw their careers go by with that particular game. They aired it all out. Carpenter was around 270 innings once it was all said and done that year. Double play turned and there's no score.
Go to break, Dan.
There's 3. Arch is the backdrop to Busch Stadium. Chris Archer with a strikeout in the first inning. The Kia in the driver's seat coming into play. 217 strikeouts. Only Sale and Scherzer with more. Beat the Blue Jays in his last start. 3 runs, 1 earned, struck out 10 over 6 innings. That was a 6-5 win. Rotation has been very good here recently for Tampa Bay. 3.13 ERA over their last 6 games. We've talked about just how good their bullpen has been, with the exception of last night.
Exactly what I was going to say. You put the numbers on the board, but you still have an opportunity to change those numbers. The Cardinals did it yesterday, 4 runs the last 2 innings, and they did it against, as you say, a very hot bullpen.
Here's a hot hitter right now in the month of August. That's Dexter Fowler. Leads Major League Baseball in hitting for the month. 400 average in 16 games. 8 doubles and a home run, and he's driven in 14. And he did that with essentially no rehab assignment. Just came right off the DL and started playing games.
Normally you trust the veterans with that. You don't have to necessarily send them out. They just kind of know how to get themselves ready, and their confidence is not really a factor. Part of the reason you send a young guy out is just so he can get that feel back again, but the veteran has been around long enough to just step right in. You mentioned his 400 average. Colton Wong, second in the National League in the month of August at 384. So pretty good 1-2 punch to have those guys swinging it.
Tampa Bay went out and got a Danny Echeverria, made some changes near the trade deadline. At that point, they were only 2 games out in the East, and now they're 10 back. On the ground to second baseman Brad Miller, but still right in the hunt for a wild card spot. Rays defense: Dickerson, Kiermaier, and Souza in the outfield. Longoria, Echeverria, Miller, Morrison on the infield. Sucre is behind the plate. Nice round of applause for Yadier Molina. I would imagine if you're a small market team like Tampa Bay and there are payroll restrictions, if you get in the spot of having just sliver of hope, you go for it. I mean, you're trying to develop and be cost effective and keep young players around that aren't expensive, but yet you owe it to the players and the manager and his staff to try to go for it. Yadi, little flare down the right field line and a foul ball.
Well, there's a going for it, but then, you know, the other part of that business model is you want to be around for a long time. And, and if you go for it at all costs and you get rid of anybody that would be interesting the following year or the year after because you've mortgaged your future, then maybe you think twice about that.
Here's the 0-2 pitch and a strikeout of Molina.
That was Archer in that at bat, changing his delivery 3 different times to get Yadi. He went slow, stopped in fact in the middle of his first pitch. The second pitch he quick pitched, and the third pitch he did normal. So he changed speeds on Yadi in that at bat without necessarily changing speeds of the throw. He did it with his delivery.
Last 4 starts have been very good. 1-1, 2.96 ERA, but the Rays have only scored 11 runs in those 4 games in support. And a fastball high to Colton Wong. His average has jumped all the way up to 315 with the 3 home runs, and he's driven in 38. Ricky mentioned his month of August: 386, 8 doubles, triple, 2 homers, and how about the RBI? 17 in this month alone. 17 of his 38.
And when you think of him this month, you think of line drives and hard hit ground balls through the infield. That's what he's been doing. The home runs will come, but that's not plan A for him.
Hard hit out to left, and the catch is made near the track. Corey Dickerson. The Cardinals go in order. That's 6 up and 6 down for Archer. He'll lead it off when we come back. Brought to you by Bud Light, famous among friends. Your local St. Louis area Volkswagen dealers. Visit bwdealer.com. And Academy Sports and Outdoors for all for less. With a former pitcher, Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here. I would imagine interleague play for an American League team going to a National League park. The pitchers are chomping at the bit to swing the bat.
Oh, they can't wait. This is something they're excited about. I mean, when they imagined being a big league player when they were a kid, think about this. 95% of them were thinking they were going to hit, not necessarily pitch. I mean, that's kind of what, you see on the videos and the highlights. You see the home runs, and most kids think they can hit, and they can when they're 12. And so this is like a dream for them.
Except when somebody's throwing mid to high 90s, they go up and in a slider.
Well, dreams sometimes turn into nightmares, as we all know.
Here's the 0-2. The shot from behind home plate, and the ball gets on you quickly. Archer puts it in play, slowly hit, tough play. Garcia safe, and Archer has a base hit.
Lynn thought about going for that ball and just figured he'd be better off letting Garcia take it, and Greg just had the double clutch, couldn't get it out of his glove, couldn't get the right grip. There's the ball, and there's the grip, and the second grip, and that's what cost him. Also lost all of his momentum. Lance thinks about it. Oh, you take it.
So the infield hit for Archer, and top of the lineup, Kiermaier.
That's two hits that could be errors. Close.
He's 2 for his last 15, Kiermaier. Just 2 hits in the series, 2 for 11. Today he singled back in the first. Archer got down the line pretty well, too. Here's the 0-1. Slowly hit towards Colton Wong. Archer advancing to second, and there's one away. Toyota keys to the game. And we're talking about Lance Lynn and home runs. Doesn't give up a lot here at home. It's been a lot on the road.
In the first half, he gave up more as well, and he's gotten that fixed. Both he and Archer have given up over 20, and that's not a problem to me when they're guys that are throwing a lot of innings and giving up solo shots. And there are times in the game where you're just going to say, here, I'm not going to walk you, here, hit it, and they do. I think Lance has cut down on those home runs. The quality starts are up, the home runs down.
Steven Souza, the ball will find you. Garcia bare hands, and what a play. Outstanding, Greg Garcia. He's been busy, huh?
So what we say in the first inning, you make a play that you don't like, you want the ball hit to you quickly so you can make another play that gets you off of that, and that's exactly what happens. That's a terrific play by Garcia. Do or die play. That was a lot harder than the other two.
Going back to the home runs by Lynn, allowed 22 this year, but only 4 in his last 11 starts. You look at the Rays in their scoring, it's been the 3rd inning this year when they've done the most damage, and a lot of times that's the 2nd time through and getting some of these big boppers up. They've scored 98 runs this season in the 3rd inning. Chicago a 3-0 lead. That's in the top of the 4th against the Phillies. Padres and Marlins tied 2-2. Miami 4.5 back in the wild card. Kubota power stats. Franchise that began playing in 1998. Evan Longoria, the all-time home run leader with 258. Milwaukee will play later at Dodger Stadium. They'll face Yu Darvish. Jimmy Nelson going for the Brewers. He's 9-6. Where the Dodgers really have manipulated the DL. It'll be Darvish's first start back off the disabled list. They've had guys going back and forth all season long.
Manipulate, utilize, took advantage of. I guess we could use different verbs for that, but the point is it's happening, and it was happening early in the season. Their DL, the 10-day DL, has made an impact on the game, especially for the Dodgers.
San Francisco later at Arizona. Arizona leads a wild card by a game and a half. Corbin with this start. He's 11-11. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Got a strikeout for Lynn. He has struck out Longoria twice and 3 total today. No score midway through 3. Friday night, 30,000 fans 16 and older take home a unique Kelly Green Cardinals jersey courtesy of Cooper Tires. Visit cardinals.com/promotions for tickets to pick up that jersey. 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup. Piscotty, Garcia, and Lynn. So Stephen Piscotty, Rick, when you look at this season, has batted 2nd, 3rd, 4th. He's been 5th. Today he's 7th. Is it really a big deal with the rotation of where you're at in a lineup, in your opinion?
Well, I don't put much stock in that. I think probably some players do, but I think for the normal player, they don't. I think some individuals really may affect them, but I think the effect that Stephen Piscotty has been dealing with in terms of his mother's illness and having a slow start in spring training, those things are more, I think, heavily on his mind, and just getting his stance straight, getting his swing straight, and getting his approach back to where it was a season ago. I think, honestly, you could hit him 9th. I think he's more worried about, can I get my hands in the right spot? Can I keep my weight back, but not too long? I mean, there were times in spring training he was so late on pitches, and it carried into the season, and just wasn't the Stephen Piscotty we'd seen before.
A pitch up and in for ball 1 underway here in the home half of the 3rd. And there's no score. Did you get your Mike Shannon alarm clock?
Yes, I did.
Good.
Get up, baby, get up.
Could have used that this morning.
You had a long day yesterday. It was a great day.
Great day.
You did a terrific job with the Hall of Fame ceremony and getting a chance to MC that, and it is a special thing, and it's just going to keep growing.
I appreciate that. I take it as a privilege to do it. It's
I know you do.
It's a big deal. Get up, baby.
You think he actually used? I'm curious. Maybe I'll go ask him. You think he actually used
his own alarm
clock this morning? I'm going to say no. What do you think?
I'm going to say no, because we all know that Mike Shannon gets up at the crack of dawn.
That's right.
Or sometimes he comes in at the crack of dawn. But whatever.
Wait a minute. I'm going to go tell him that. I got two things to ask.
Hey,
now.
we've all been with him. It's no big deal.
Wondering how you knew.
And then some. We're all going to get shirts that say "We survived traveling with Mike Shannon."
I tell people all the time, if you ever have a chance to go to dinner with him or play golf with him, say yes.
It's a treat.
It is a treat.
3-2 pitch, and it swung on and missed, in a strikeout of Stephen Piscotty.
One of the things we noticed about Archer early is his ability to change his delivery. This is to Yadier Molina. He stops and then he continues his motion, throws a fastball. So he's going to change speeds. How do you do it? You just go fast and throw a fastball. So he's late. And you have the third fastball, which is more of a normal delivery, and he gets him to swing and miss. 3 different fastballs. So he changed speeds really without having to throw a breaking ball. Pretty impressive.
Here's Greg Garcia. On base percentage since the break has been .422. Spot starts along the way, primarily at third base. Average at .243. Here's a 1-0 pitch.
So starting off as a game where you start to wonder which pitcher is going to blink first. We said it was the marquee pitching matchup of this series, and that's what it's been so far. Both Lynn and Archer look sharp. And in a game like that, Dan, part of that blinking is who's going to blink defensively first.
Garcia, base hit into right center. Thinking 2 out of the box, on his way to second, and in there safely. Double for Greg Garcia.
This ball's hit right on the barrel by Garcia. And you have to think double right now. You have to think it's possible. Quick out of the box, took a good turn at first. Good arms in the outfield too, by the way, for the Rays. We've seen them in this series. Especially Kiermaier in center.
So Lance will hit from the left side. And a runner at second is Greg Garcia. And he looks at strike 1.
Garcia, decent runner. Almost think the right fielder Souza Jr. is a little bit deep.
Of course,
he's respecting the launch angle you've been talking about.
Well, you have to.
Very shallow in left and shallow in center, but he's deeper in right.
And that's a foul ball. I'll be honest, I've watched Lance hit from the left side down at the cage a handful of times. I've yet to see him pull a ball right. Now the launch angle going the other way, outstanding, Ricky. The fielder very shallow. That's Dickerson. Well, the right fielder way too deep, no doubt.
So you look at the splits for Lance Lynn. He's a switch hitter that can't hit either way.
Ooh.
I say that lovingly. He's trying.
Here's a 1-2. Lynn chops it to short. Echeverria to first. Garcia really took a chance there on that play.
Yeah, he did. Especially with the smooth fielding Echeverria. This little chopper to his right, and you better be sure you're going to be safe. Garcia took that chance. Had good momentum going in that direction. That's part of the reason that good secondary lead.
So here's Carpenter in a scoreless game. 2 outs and a runner at third. Three infielders on the right side as Carpenter looks at strike one. Fly to left his first time up. Here's the 0-1 pitch. We talk a lot about Carpenter and pushing a bunt to the left side, especially if that third baseman is at the shortstop position. Just wonder if he could try to master the idea of bunting it to the right side, as deep as the right side of the infield is.
He's tried bunting a number of times this year, and what I've noticed is he doesn't. I wouldn't say he's not at all an accomplished bunter, but it's not his best thing that he does, and I think he's a little bit worried about giving up an at bat by popping it up. You know, it's funny, some hitters can bunt well and some can't, and it's, I don't think it's a matter of not working on it. It's just how their swing is, how they see the ball. The bunting is, you've heard me say this, Dan, for years, bunting is harder than people think it is. It's assumed that it's an easy thing because in Little League it's easy. In big leagues it's not.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to the Cardinal leadoff man. Carpenter pulls it foul. That's a perfect example of sometimes that hot swing that he takes.
Yeah.
He just rolls over the wrist.
Like he's playing tennis.
Yeah.
Hitting an overhand lob.
Goes down to get that pitch.
I think that's almost his emergency hack. It's, you know, I see it. I'm not sure I can keep it fair, but let me just kind of, let me just serve this foul. There it is. Maybe a pitching wedge.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Carpenter hits it sharply to first. Knocked down by Morrison, and out at first is Archer, and Carpenter are tangled up. Mike Matheny to the top step. Cardinals will take a look at it. Barely got him. Nice play by Archer. So no review for the Cardinals. No challenge. And Archer out of the jam. No score as we head to the fourth. And we check in with Jim.
Dan, Tommy Pham had that first career walk-off home run last night. Today as part of baseball's Players Weekend. He'll try for more heroics wearing cleats decorated by his 7-year-old nephew Clayton. Pham asked Clayton to use a Las Vegas theme, and he did a pretty good job. Tommy calls Clayton Clay Money and describes him this way, quote, a 7-year-old player. Lance Lynn needs to watch him. Last time his daughter was in town, he told her what's up. Dan, Tommy spends a ton of time with his nephew. He told me that's his best friend.
Thank you, Jimmy. Logan Morrison with the solo home run. And the first run of this game, the home run number 30 for Morrison.
That's the power you talked about. In this Rays lineup, he gets a pitch center cut. And good finish on this swing. That's very, very long finish, powerful finish. Got good carry. I didn't think that ball was going out when he hit it, but it did.
30 home runs, so a significant personal milestone for Logan Morrison. Here's Dickerson. 408 feet the distance of the home run, 103 the miles per hour off the bat.
There's the first blink.
Dickerson single to left first time up. They're in the top of the fifth. The Cubs with a 3-0 lead over the Phillies. Been a very good year for Dickerson. 7th in hits in the American League. 8th with 57 extra base hits. Top 5 of multi-hit games. And he's 11 for his last 20 coming into this start.
And 6 hits in this series alone. He's been a tough out.
And a ground ball that's hit to first. Carpenter will take it. Steps on the bag for the out. Join gold medalist Jackie Joyner-Kersee Sunday, September 17th, the 8th annual Cardinals Care 6K Run Walk. Unique event begins in front of the Musial statue, winds through the streets of downtown, ends on the field here at Busch Stadium. All the proceeds benefit kids in the community. For more information, to sign up, cardinals.com/6K.
We'd be out there with Jackie, except we were on a road trip. Actually, 2 road trips remaining for the Cardinals and 2 homestands. And you look at the schedule, it's time to start winning day after day for the Cardinals and make a run. And it's going to be starting pitching and a more solid bullpen that's going to have to lead that way. 19 road games in those 2 trips, 2 long road trips, and a 6-game homestand and a 7-game homestand to finish out the season.
Tough to predict how many wins it'll take, but you know roughly you're looking at 85 to 88 to get in. And the catch is made by Piscotty. Echeverria retired, and it brings in Miller. The thing is too, Rick, you've got a lot of head-to-head left with Milwaukee and Chicago.
And those always feel like 2 games. They're not, but it always feels like you can at least make up even more ground because you're guaranteeing the loss for the team that you're trying to catch. And that's when you're the chaser, that's what you want. 33 games remaining, including this one. Win 33, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Going the greatest run in the history of baseball.
Something has to be the greatest run in the history of baseball.
Why not that, right? Well, we saw it in '64. We saw it in 2011. Great runs by Cardinal teams to get in. We'll put it this way: you're going to have to play better than 500 baseball, and you have to get 5 to 10 above 500 to have a shot.
20 and 13 gives you 85 wins.
Exactly. Here's the 0-2 taken outside. On that road trip, you go through 2 with Milwaukee, 4 in San Francisco, 4 in San Diego. But as we've seen in this homestand, below 500 teams, it doesn't matter.
They're big leaguers.
Logan Morrison, the 12th player in Rays history to hit 30 or more in a season. That was also career hit number 700. And a strikeout. Lynn has struck out 4, number 30 for Logan Morrison. Solo shot, 1-0 Tampa Bay. The home run by Logan Morrison. Tommy Pham leads it off here in the home half of the 4th. Exclusive company, Bryce Harper, Tommy Pham, Mike Trout. The 300+ average, 400+ on base percentage, 500+ slugging.
You say exclusive, but it's also pretty good company when you're talking about Bryce Harper and Mike Trout. Those two are really the faces of baseball at this point from an offensive standpoint, and Pham's numbers put him in that league. That's pretty impressive.
He struck out his first time up. Ground ball that's hit to short. Echeverria makes the play. Sons and daughters, they come out to the ballpark, take in a beautiful day game here at Busch Stadium. Kids are back in school, but you'd love to see that. Give me that hat, Dad. DeYoung flied out to right first time up.
You've been a bit surprised, Dan, on how DeYoung has handled the 3rd spot in the lineup. I mean,
seamless.
We've been around this a long time, and a lot of times that's a lot of pressure to put on a young player, especially. He's still 23. He's still learning to play shortstop. He's played shortstop for less than a year professionally. After playing 3rd base, catcher in college, and here he is, seemingly unperturbed by anything around him, just keeps hitting.
This time he pops it up. Brad Miller with the catch, 2 away. And with 2 outs, it brings in Dexter Fowler. You think about defensively a club and how you really build a defense if you're a really good team. It's up the middle. You got your catcher, your shortstop, your center fielder. So you've got that added pressure for DeYoung. And then, oh, by the way, you're going to hit in one of the premier spots in a major league team, and that's 3rd. It's a lot of pressure
for a major league team that isn't happy when you're playing 500 baseball, wants more than that. I think that's the other thing that sometimes we miss in St. Louis, and not to point at any other particular franchises, but if you're at a second division club that season, let's put it that way, you've got a lot of young players on your team who are really happy to be in the big leagues. And it is not, I mean, they're not checking the standings every day. I mean, they're just not. I mean, you care about it, but you become very focused on your own performance and just being a big leaguer, and not kind of this drive towards the pennant. You realize you're trying to keep others from doing it, but it's just very, very different experience for a young player.
2-out base hit for Dexter Fowler.
Luke Voigt back. Happy to have him back. Carson Kelly being around a team that cares about winning.
Expected to come up and win. That's the expectation here. Don't get your feet wet. We're here to win. There's Yadier Molina, struck out his first time up. He's had a good year when you look at where he ranks among major league catchers. First in stolen bases, by the way, with 8. Average is in the top 13. RBIs top 4. Top 8 in home runs, and 3rd in doubles. So 2 outs and a runner at first. And the 0-1 pitch to Yadier Molina. How would you describe the delivery of Archer?
Well, he's very much over the top, a little mechanical at the beginning of his motion, and I think that kind of maybe surprises you how sharp the slider is from that point. He just got a good finish, a good spin on his slider. It's short. It's not a big sweeping slider.
Out of play.
And 97's pretty good too.
Really over the top, pretty simple.
Pretty uncomplicated with his lower half too. He's not really swinging around. He's just picking up his leg and putting it down for the most part. He has a good live arm. He's Flaco Fuerte.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Molina. Got him. A strikeout. That's 4 today through 4 innings for Chris Archer. We head to the 5th. A Logan Morrison home run, the difference so far. Top of 5. Logan Morrison with a solo home run. Sucre, Archer, Kiermaier. And the first pitch is a strike. A 1 pitch. Lynn has struck out 4. He's walked 1 and given up the solo home run to Morrison. 2 balls and 1 strike. Off day tomorrow for the club. They'll head to Milwaukee. Two and 2. 2 in Milwaukee, 4 in San Francisco, 4 in San Diego. Phillies with a 5-3 lead over Chicago in the bottom of 5.
Lance not getting that low strike in this at bat. I would say our home plate umpire CB Buckner has done a pretty good job so far, but he may have missed 1 or 2 in this at bat.
You usually tell me if we have an event, you know, Dan, my favorite part of such and such was this. What was your favorite part of the Hall of Fame yesterday?
Oh boy, you know, that's actually a harder question than you think because there were so many really good parts. I mean, I really enjoyed, I would say, everybody's speech, and I can't really pick one over the other. There was a point in every one of their speeches that I thought was meaningful, like a little snippet of Mark McGwire talking about, I never knew I would have the best 4 years of my life here with you. That was great. And Tim saying that you're here for more and more and more at the end. That was awesome. And I enjoyed Pepper Martin's daughter and everything that she said about her dad, and about when she told the story of one of her sisters being born while his dad was at the ball game.
Could be 2, 4, 6, 3 started by Wong. Nice.
And they delivered a note to him, and he was in the batter's box with tears in his eyes as his daughter was born and he hit a home run. I've never heard that story.
No. Was engrossed into listening to Tim run through essentially the big stars of that late 60s run of the Cardinals.
Oh yeah.
And when you hear it come from them, and those that participated were elbow to elbow with those players, you start thinking about it and you put it in perspective how great that team was. Wow. I mean, we always say it, we always talk about it. Well, Cepeda did this and he was an MVP, and Bob Gibson was amazing in the World Series and whatnot. But then to hear about the others and how it all came together, and Red Schoendienst. Incredible.
You know, what strikes you too, Dan, is you hear again the heart stories of from the daughter of the guy that was a gas house gang member, and you hear just this Tim's story about Orlando Cepeda and Gibson saying we're not leaving without him on the bus. You notice there's, you know, the numbers were there, their career numbers, but we didn't care about those numbers at the time. We cared about the person and the story. That, I think, is always striking for the Hall of Fame ceremony.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. And a base hit into right field. Kiermaier can really run on his way to second base. Dug out of the corner by Piscotty. And a 2-out double. By the way, how about Colton Wong and how smooth he has been to go along with his offense? You keep pointing it out, but you know, many times his offense goes to his defense and one feeds off the other, and he started that double play like it was no big deal. It was not an easy ground ball.
We've talked a few times about what he's worked on with Ali Marmol about having, and Mike Schilt, there's Mike, the third base coach, also works with the infielders, but Ali, the first base coach, trying to get the feet quick and the hands slower. Will not have jumpy hands, but have quick feet and then be smooth with the hands. There's Ali, and that has paid dividends for Colton.
Who's Ali Marmol, former player and then manager in the minor league system for the Cardinals. One point he was the youngest manager in pro ball. Gets the call to the big leagues. 2 outs and a runner at second. Steven Souza Jr. Home run by Lynn, first allowed in nearly 40 innings. Last home run allowed was back on the 4th of July. And that's the difference in this game. Here's a 1-1. Mentioned that he's tough on the righties and he's also tough with runners in scoring position. They're hitting just 184 against him this year. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Steven Souza Jr. You were talking earlier about the intangibles. Take away the numbers of what Lance Lynn means to the club, the rotation, young players. Would all be check marks in his favor to come back to St. Louis. I'd love to see him back.
I would too. I'm glad he didn't leave at the trade deadline. I thought for sure he was going to.
Me too.
You know, the Cardinals, you talked about the changes the Rays made. The Cardinals didn't make changes other than they started playing better right around that time. That was their change.
Missed inside. Lynn starting to get frustrated with his strike zone. Walks way off the mound. The second walk in this inning.
Well, there have been plenty of close pitches that have not gone his way in this inning. That one was off the plate, but I think that's more of a reaction to the other pitches he didn't get than it was to that one. You get frustrated, then you start looking for help from the umpire.
Giancarlo Stanton hits his 50th home run today. 8th inning off of Clayton Richard. He's 3 for 3 home run double. He's up to 108 RBIs. In Miami, a 5-2 lead over San Diego in the bottom of the 8th. He may single-handedly carry them into postseason play. Evan Longoria with runners at first and second. The fly ball to left, and the threat is through. Rays strand a couple this Hall of Fame weekend here in St. Louis. Busch Stadium. 1-0 Rays. The T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break. Hoskins last night against the Cubs. Been on a tear. 10th and 11th home runs. Fastest to reach 10 since 1913. 57 at bats. Andrelton Simmons against the Astros. The 3-run homer. Angels win that 7-6. In the hunt for a wild card spot. Golden Wong riding a 9-game hitting streak into play. Talked about it earlier, the 17 that he's driven in this month, the most of any month in his career. Here's the 0-1. Wong, Piscotty, and Garcia. 1-0 our score. The Cardinals with just 2 hits. Looking at July and August, 234 in July and a red hot August, second best average, trailing only his teammate in the National League, Dexter Fowler. Here's a 1-1 pitch. 2-1. Inside, and that's a leadoff walk to Colton Wong. Commemorate this inaugural Players Weekend at MLBshop.com with limited edition Cardinals jerseys and tees featuring player pick nicknames with the gear the players are wearing on the field this weekend. MLBshop.com. Here's Piscotty, who struck out first time up. First pitch, a strike.
We've talked about the power that the Rays have, but the Cardinals have a number of players with 15 or more home runs. Piscotty does not have that many, but certainly has the capability. We haven't seen him at the big league level long enough. It's 7 home runs, 32 RBIs, but certainly has the potential to run into one.
And the 0-1 pitch, instead a check on Colton Wong. Rick is working hard on his Mike Shannon alarm clock.
I've got it set. We are going to get up, baby, get up at 3 o'clock.
Here's the 0-1. Well, the fans are into it. Let's see this catch.
Wow.
No big deal. Yes. Here's the 0-2. And a strikeout of Piscotty. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. That's 5 today for Archer.
Yeah, this one's on the slider. The sharp spin on that slider, down and away, and Steven cannot keep the bat back. I don't think he read slider. He read fastball, started to swing at a fastball, and it wasn't.
Here's Greg Garcia. He doubled back in the third, the first Cardinal hit of the afternoon. Won the count. Too many swings against that wipeout slider that have been effective today.
And when you have a pitcher like this, you really are hesitant to do a hit and run. And when you're down in the count, you wouldn't do it anyway. It's something you do when you're ahead in the count, typically. But when a pitcher is such a swing and miss guy, you're afraid of losing a guy on the base pass, and you don't often use the hit and run. But this would be the pair to use them, Wong and Garcia. Another breaking ball. Out of the zone. Can't lay off.
Sucre, by the way, tied for first in the American League. Club record. He's picked off 3. And he's thrown out 28% of attempted base stealers this year. They think he's a very good catch and throw. Strikeout of Garcia. 6 today for Archer.
Boy, he just carved him up, didn't he? Threw the breaking balls down and then just reared back and threw one up and in.
And here's Lance Lynn. 2 outs, runner at first. Here in the bottom of 5, 1-0 our score. Rounded out back in the 3rd.
One thing we uncovered about Lance Lynn, he shared with us that part of the reason he's batting left-handed isn't just because of launch angle, but it actually hurts his elbow less. This feels like when he swings left-handed, it just feels like there's less strain on his right arm. And that's certainly more important what he does with his right arm when he's on the mound.
Archer, the 3rd Rays pitcher to reach 1,000 strikeouts in his career. James Shields the other, along with David Price. Did it though 257 innings faster than Shields and 153 2/3 innings faster than Price. That's impressive. Here's a 1-1. He's got 6 today and 2 in this inning. 2 balls and 1 strike. Lynn hits it out of play. Happy 98th birthday to Pat Osterholt, attending the game with her family. 98, Pat Osterholt. If I make it a 98, it'll be a miracle. If I make it a 58, it'd be a miracle. Here's a 2-2.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. Well, the runner off with this pitch. It's Colton Wong. And the next to Lynn. Launch angle. And it's caught. I like it though. Launch angle.
Get up, baby. Get up.
It's happening at 3 o'clock right here in this booth.
You bet it is.
St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light, famous among friends, and by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Beautiful day here in downtown St. Louis. The Mike Shannon alarm clock giveaway. Nissan drive of the game in the 4th inning. Home run number 30 for Logan Morrison, and that's the only run scored this afternoon.
Pitching has been very good in this game. Lance Lynn, we talked about in the open, needed to get deep in this game again to give the Cardinals bullpen, I wouldn't even say some rest, but just mental rest. I don't know that they're physically exhausted at the moment, but I just think mentally to regroup is important for this Cardinal bullpen. Dan, it's not 3 o'clock yet.
Not 3 o'clock, and you've set this for
3 o'clock.
Voice or bell, right?
Voice.
Okay, so Mike Shannon will be in our booth.
Yes, he will.
Leadoff hitter is reached in every inning against Lance Lynn. As Morrison pops it up, and Wong makes the catch. It's interesting. Morrison, 15 of his last 18 home runs come on the road. And a number of his 30 home runs, 17 have been solo shots. But today it's the only run. Here's Dickerson, a base hit to left and also grounded out to first. 1 for 2. Off day tomorrow for the Cardinals. Tampa Bay will go to Kansas City. They'll take on the Royals tomorrow night. We'll have the first of 2 for you in Milwaukee Tuesday night. Night game, day game. A trip out west.
Lance's command has been good. The velocity's good for Lance today. The ball's really jumping. We always know he's going to use his fastball, but when the fastball's got a little hop to it, why not? Only 5 hits allowed as he's working into the 6th. Pitch count under 7.
Pretty much pencil in Lance Lynn for at least 6 innings. He's tied right now for the longest active streak in all of baseball. 9 straight starts, 6 or more innings pitched. 2 earned runs or fewer in 19 starts this year. That's most in baseball. And he picks up a strikeout. Want a great deal on tickets? Fill up at Phillips 66. 8 gallons or more now until September 25th. And receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. It
was actually pitch number 78 for Lynn, but you could imagine him going, now that his spot has come up in the order in that 5th inning, you could imagine him going really as deep as he needs to. Cardinals could get some runs. Really hoping for the Mike Shannon alarm clock to go off just as either Paul DeJong or Dexter Fowler go deep. That's what we're hoping for.
You've got it timed out perfectly.
We'll see. Will you leave my alarm clock alone, please?
I will not touch it anymore. I promise. You're going to put that next to your nightstand, and you'll probably have to leave the booth, and I'm going to set that for 4:30 a.m. after it goes off at 3.
Is there a snooze on this thing?
You can wake up and thank me. Here's a 1-1. Ground ball that's hit to short. DeJong. Efficient 6th inning for Lance Lynn. Beautiful day here at the ballpark. Let's see if the offense can't get going. 1-0 Tampa Bay. to tee off for the Blues for the Kids Foundation on Monday, September 11th, alongside players, coaches, alumni, and executives. Foursomes on sale now. Visit stlouisblues.com/golf classic for more information. It's not often that you have a sentence that includes Mike Shannon and Wham, but we just had that during the break. The video board, they had the Mike Shannon alarm clock and started playing Wham. Wake me up before you go. Come on. All together now.
Oh boy.
Get things going here.
That's what we need to get happening on the offensive side. The Cardinals have just not had very many good at-bats against Chris Archer, and that's to be expected. He is an outstanding pitcher, an all-star. We mentioned two-time all-star, a late addition this year to the all-star team, but he certainly earned it.
Here's the 0-1. A montage of some of the calls against the Tampa Bay Rays in walk-off fashion. One of those included the voice of Jay Randolph, your former partner, and
I noticed that.
Hopefully Jay is doing well, my understanding, in good health. And
yes,
everywhere we go, everybody asking, how's Jay doing?
Gentleman, professional.
2 balls and 1 strike. Great man, always smiling, happy. Gentleman is the best way to put it.
Indeed, indeed. And everybody is his good friend.
The 2-1 pitch. Carpenter lifts it down the right field line, and it's hooking foul. Two and two the count. The top of the lineup here for the Cardinals. Next by Archer. Got a strikeout. That's 7 today for Archer. When the Cardinals hit a home run, get a free frozen Coke or McDouble the next day with the McDonald's app. Download it for exclusive deals.
Mentioned the low pitch count of Lance Lynn. That's just 70 pitches for Archer, which is hard to do when you're striking out a lot of guys. He's had some 1, 2, 3 strikeouts, and he has just been in command.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Tommy Pham. Pham is struck out and grounded out. 0 for 2. The hits today for the Cardinals: a double by Garcia in the 3rd. And Dexter Fowler, a 2-out single in the 4th. Pham, base hit just over Echeverria. Getting closer to the striking hour of 3 o'clock.
That's a slider that backed up a little bit and ended up jamming Tommy Pham. He saw the spin of the slider and it just didn't break as much. That's why he was jammed, but strong enough to get it over the shortstop's head.
All right, you said 3 o'clock. Paul DeYoung goes deep. It's a little bit before 3. Will you take it?
I'll take it. Also move the clock up a little bit. Want to make sure I got the right time. It's about 3 more minutes.
So 1 out and a runner at first. And DeYoung sends a fly ball into center. And back to the bag at first goes Tommy Pham.
DeYoung or Fowler.
2 outs and a runner at first. Here's Dexter Fowler. And strike one. One pitch, 1 ball and 1 strike. Fowler with 15 home runs. And the 1-1. 1-2. Nine of Fowler's 15 home runs are go-ahead homers. Here's a 1-2 pitch. The check swing, and he went. Strikeout number 8 for Archer. We head to the 7th. 1-0 Tampa Bay. Saturday, September 9th. Make sure you're a part of it. September 9th, and take home the pullover.
Get up. Wake up, Danny.
There it is.
Right on cue, except for the home run.
Yeah. It's nice to know your alarm clock works. Take it home, it actually works.
It does.
Here's Brad Miller, 7, 8, and 9 for Tampa Bay. Miller has walked and struck out. Lynn has struck out 5. Archer on the other side has struck out 8. And a fly ball lifted into center. Fowler backing up near the wall, and it's gone. Just over the wall. 2-0 Tampa Bay.
Well, Dan, that home run to center reminds me of the home run in the 4th inning in terms of thinking that it wasn't out. I thought it was the F8 again. This is the 7th place hitter, the Rat Miller. Puts a good swing on it, barrels it up. But I didn't think it had home run distance to straightaway center. I don't think Fowler did at first either. And then he backed up, made a great effort, just barely ran out of room.
Miller, his 6th home run, 2-0 Tampa Bay. Jesus Sucre has popped out to 3rd and also walked. 0-2 the count. Boy, Lynn not happy at all after that home run. And just watching how Fowler went back, I think he thought he had a beat on it too inside the ballpark, which you talked about.
Well, he was backpedaling at one point, which made us all think that he was going to catch it. Just took a step back, another step back, and then just had to keep moving. There's some kind of jet stream there to straightaway center today. And could just be the power of the Rays.
.406 feet, just over that 400-foot sign. And a strikeout for Lynn.
Dan, here's what we're talking about with Dexter. Ball's hit to straightaway center, and he's just going to start backpedaling. He makes a good move, and he's like, I'm going to settle under it. Oh, I got to keep going. And then the wall's there and out of room.
Here's Archer, grounded into a double play and an infield hit. Strike one. Trying to bunt his way on and pushed it foul. Right by the Cardinals dugout. 0-2. Tuesday night, Budweiser, what's on tap? The Cardinals and the Brewers. Weaver against Garza. Luke had one of his best starts earlier this season at Miller Park. And coming off a 10 strikeout performance. That pitch taken high. They're in the bottom of the 7th. The Phillies a 5-3 lead over Chicago. And a strikeout of Archer, number 7 today for Lance Lynn. So if this holds where the Cubs would lose and the Cardinals lose, they've had opportunities in this homestand to get a game here or there.
Yeah, and what you really have to just think about, and I know Mike Matheny has been preaching this to all of us really all season long, ever since he's been the manager of the Cardinals, is you can only really worry about what you do. And players will say that, coaches will say that, but they mean that. You can't. Are you interested in what's going on the scoreboard? Absolutely. But you just have to get hot as a team. Figure out a way to get back to where you were in early August, where everything was working together, offensively, defensively, and especially with the bullpen. And they're just not quite there yet, where everything's clicking at the same time. And if you roll off 8 out of 10 wins, no matter what happens, you're going to be in better position a week and a half from now. And I think that's the way you have to think. Just worry about what you can control.
0-2 the count on Kiermaier.
But the fans' experience is we're watching that scoreboard and realizing it is a missed opportunity if the Cardinals don't come back here today.
After the home run, he strikes out the side. He's up to 8 today. The home run hit by Brad Miller. It'll be Molina, Wong, Piscotty coming up. 2-0 Tampa Bay. 400-foot side, and watch Fowler in that right shoulder. No give on that wall.
Yeah, that takes away your momentum, and you're trying to time it, and he certainly gave it the effort. And there he goes to that shoulder, realizing that, you know, you don't really notice when you first see it. You're looking at the glove, but then you realize the complexity of making a play like that. You have to navigate the wall, and you, as you say, no give to it.
And so Yadier Molina. And the first pitch popped up on the outfield grass. Miller, the second baseman, wants it and has it. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Cardinals will donate, and the Gateway Honda dealers, $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. And the first pitch taken by Wong is a ball. Good changeup.
We've seen a few changeups from him, but more sliders and fastballs, and he pulls the string on Colton Wong very well. That's a good changeup. He sold that well. Good location down and away. What I mean by selling a changeup is it has to look as much like your fastball in your delivery that the hitter is not aware of it before you release the ball. If you either speed up your delivery or slow it down or do something different, you're not giving that deception to the hitter. He has to think fastball until the last second.
Colton today has walked and also flied out to left. Archer has been nasty. This is what we thought we might see. He has struck out 8.
He's not making many mistakes either. We talk about his stuff being good, but it's consistently good. There's not hanging. We don't see hanging sliders. We haven't seen flat fastballs or hanging changeups. Really haven't seen any of them from him.
The 2-2. Wong with a drive. Get up, baby. Get up, baby. Get up. Oh, yeah. Colton Wong. That's in honor of you, Mike Shannon.
Take a ride on that one, big boy. I said he hadn't made many mistakes. There it is. Breaking pitch that spun middle of the plate, didn't have the sharp break to it, and Colton hammered it. Home run derby today.
The third hit, all have been solo shots, and now Piscotty. Little life in the ballpark.
Oh yeah.
Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 thanks to Colton Wong to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1-2. And Piscotty on the 1-2 pitch. Pops it up. And the catch is made. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals. So 2 outs, and here's Garcia. Luke Voigt at the on-deck circle. 2-1 our score. Oh, is getting loose in the Cardinal pen. Garcia with a double, the first Cardinal hit of the afternoon. That was back in the 3rd. And that's hit out of play. And the 1-1 pitch to Garcia. Our crowd today, 44,469, 44469.
And I do think some life into the crowd with the Wong home run, realizing how quickly things can change.
Here's a 1-2 pitch.
And hoping you have at least one more Mike Shannon get up baby home run call.
In the dirt, and it's 2-2.
Rally caps, I'm with you.
Here's a 2-2. Popped up left side and out of play. What is it too early for a rally cap? 7th inning, down by a run?
I think it's really up to every fan to determine. I think you could say, look, we need to rally early. I'm just going to go to it right now. I'm feeling it. So you just got to feel it, Dan.
So there's no right or wrong.
I think there's no rule book on a rally cap that I'm aware of.
All right.
I'd like to say 7th inning on, though. I mean, that's general.
Up the middle and a base hit. Garcia with the 2nd hit of the afternoon. Archer and his catcher Sucre have not been on the same page here. And now they're talking it over. You can see Archer shaking him off a bunch.
bring out the mediator, the pitching coach. I don't really mind shaking off a catcher. I don't think that necessarily, Dan, is a sign of not being on the same page. It's just the pitcher saying, this is what I want to throw. Now, it depends on how they're talking it through and working it through. I mean, the catcher, again, to me, is just offering a suggestion. Pitcher shakes him off. That's not a problem unless he's going against something the catcher knows.
You get Luke Voit back in the big leagues. Went down and went 6 for 14 with a home run. It's a .429 average, so good to see him get back to some live pitching. Maybe timing comes back. Most of his damage this year has been done at Busch Stadium. There's strike one.
Well, he was looking to do damage, wasn't he? That chases Lance Lynn, that base hit by Garcia. 7 solid innings for Lance. Just the 2 home runs allowed, 8 strikeouts. Good outing for Lance.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Seen a couple of breaking pitches here. What does he get on 0-2?
Well, I would think he would throw a slider off the plate. You know, he's thrown a lot of wild pitches this year, 13, probably because that slider can be so sharp. I don't think he's going to want to come in with a fastball. I think he'll just go for the kill with the slider away.
Here's the 0-2. And Voit goes with it. Line drive into right, but it's caught. Colton Wong with a home run, his 4th of the year. He's now driven in 39. A long one. We played 7 here at Busch. 2-1. Rays on top. Chevy called to the pen. O took advantage of the opportunity to represent his home country of South Korea with his jersey choice. His name in Korean characters. Really, it wasn't originally approved by MLB, and then he ultimately was able to wear his name in his native language as a member of the Cardinals. Seung-Hwan Oh.
I think it's terrific that he was able to get that approved.
He wrote "My Family" in Korean, the tribute patch, and that's strike one on Souza.
Souza was showing bunt just to look at a pitch, and he accidentally bunted it. I don't think he had any intention of bunting.
Let's put it this way: if he puts that fair, He's out by 10 feet. 0-1 pitch. That's fouled back. Oh, 0-2.
Well, it's been a good ball game. Well pitched. Cardinals with a chance here, just trailing by 1, and who will step up in the 8th or the 9th? And who will step up out of the Cardinals bullpen?
Souza here, and then Longoria and Morrison for Tampa Bay. And the 1-2 pitch ripped into left field. Leadoff base hit for the Rays. State Farm double play, and the Cardinals have turned 2 this afternoon. Turned there by Colton Wong, and then he would start one as well off the bat of Archer.
Such a good example watching that footwork, how quick his feet were and how smooth his upper body was. That's the improvement for Colton. The offensive improvement, very clear. He's a force now.
7 of the 8 innings the leadoff man has been on for the Rays. 2 solo home runs. So the Cardinals and Lance Lynn now have been pitching from the stretch primarily throughout the ballgame. Monday pitch arsenal on Seung-Hwan Oh.
A season ago, when he was so dominant, the slider, which he throws 28% of the time, was at times unhittable. But that's the pitch that's getting him in trouble, including that base hit to lead this inning off. He was ahead in the count, as he's been 1-2. He couldn't get that late sharp break on the slider and gave up a hit.
Pham, 1 away.
And here's the 2 guys you worry about. Well, you don't worry so much anymore because he won't be facing them. 0 against left-handers, not going to happen. Mike Matheny making a move.
So Chevy called to the pen. Zach Duke coming on when we come back. Kids 15 and under entering with a ticket take home a limited edition Cardinals pup courtesy of Build-A-Bear Workshop. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Morrison 4 for 10 against Duke. Ice cream on a beautiful day. Big crowd, well over 40,000 here at Busch Stadium. Phillips 66. What's in the tank for Zach Duke?
More action in the Cardinals bullpen. Duke will have the two left-handers. And then you just wait and see where you are at that point. John Brebbia getting loose for St. Louis. For Echeverria.
Shallow center. Fowler with the catch.
Jam shot. Dexter on the move. Braces for the ground. Makes the play. Had to cover some ground.
Cesar Puello be the pinch hitter. And so 2 outs, 2-1 our score here in the top of the 8th, and a runner at first. Interesting move in my mind by Kevin Cash. You go into extra innings, you lose Dickerson.
Just thinking the same exact thing.
And he's been one of their best hitters all year and red hot at the moment. So 2 outs and a runner at first. It's now 6-3, top of the 9th. Phillies lead the Chicago Cubs. Pittsburgh a 5-2 winner over Cincinnati.
You wonder if that move to first base was just to get more time for Brebbia to get loose. I think this maybe a bit of a surprise that Dickerson's not at the plate, that they went with the right-handed batting Puello. Now if you go to a right-hander Brebbia, you might end up seeing Duda. And I think we're going to find out. So the stall tactic to get Brebbia ready. He will face Puello, or will it be Duda?
Chevy called to the pen. John Brebbia coming on when we come back. On the farm. Take an in-depth look at the talent brewing in the minor leagues this week. We'll feature Patrick Wisdom of Memphis. Third baseman, leads a team in homers, RBIs, and doubles. Toyota Cardinals live Tuesday at 6. Fox Sports Midwest. Brebbia is on to face Lucas Duda. So they pull back Puello. Duda will be the hitter. He is 3 for his last 27. Those 3 have been home runs. It's a 2-1 ball game here in the top of the 8th at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And yesterday with Lucas Duda off of Mike Leake.
Another home run to center field. We've seen 2 of them here this afternoon for the Rays. And this is the matchup that you wanted. You had to decide, if you're Mike Matheny, do I want Duke facing Puello, or do I want Brebbia facing Duda? And you're really rolling the dice. Duda has home run power. Puello had 13 home runs in AAA, where he spent much of the season, but he was also hitting close to .330 this year.
Lucas Duda, the former Met. Pitch taken low. Danny Echeverria at the on-deck circle. You can see the former Cardinal Peter Borges going into the outfield for Tampa Bay. Take the spot of Dickerson. 2 balls and no strikes. 4 home runs here in the month of August. Just a 181 average for Lucas Duda. It's now a final. The Phillies winning 6-3 over Chicago. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Inside, 3-0.
Brebbia does not walk very many batters. That has not been his MO coming out of the Cardinals bullpen. A lot of strikes from Brebbia, typically.
Three and 1.
Five walks in 37 innings because you can throw a slider 3-2 or 3-0 and still feel comfortable with it.
Milwaukee a 1-0 lead early on against the Dodgers. It's against Yu Darvish. 3-1 pitch. Ooh, just missed. 3-2 it would have been with that slider, and he just missed. And now first and second. And Danny Echeverria. Runners at first and second. Ray's shortstop is 0 for 3. Grounded into a double play in the second inning. Flied out to right, grounded to short. Cardinals trying to come back for Lance Lynn. Fouled back for strike 1.
Outfield is fairly shallow, and they're not going to make it easy for Souza to score on a base hit. Pham with 7 assists in left field. Fowler in center. Piscotty strong arm in right. And maybe this is the matchup that Mike Matheny wanted all along. Brebbia facing Echeverria, even though you move a guy into scoring position.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Throw down to second, and back just in time is Souza. One ball and 1 strike.
I'll just keep you honest. Throws on the other side of the bag, maybe.
That ball gets through Yachty. Runners advance to second and third.
It's a breaking ball in the outer half. Probably goes a wild pitch because it was in the dirt, but that's a play typically Yachty makes.
So 2-1 the count. Popped up. Yachty giving it a look on a play. 2-2.
It was not much different than the pitch Mike Leake threw to Adeiny Echeverria yesterday, and it was hit into the bullpen. A hanging slider. And you could tell from the swing of Echeverria that he saw it, thought that as well, and just a little bit over anxious. Cardinals are lucky.
The 2-2. Left-handed batter Brad Miller at the on-deck circle. This might be your game, and this is bad right here.
Cardinals have promise in the bottom of the 8th inning with the top of the order coming up. But you don't want to allow that insurance run. Reby on the hot seat right now.
Two. Might come back with that same pitch.
Well, I've said this before. The problem with coming back with that pitch 3-2 is you tend to guide it because you want to throw it for a strike instead of letting it go. And you might get hurt by it. So if you're going to throw it, and I'm not against it, then throw it. Don't guide it.
3-2 pitch. Bases loaded. Tense moments here at the ballpark. Cubs have posted a loss. Cardinals, if they could somehow win this game and come back, would be within 3.5 of Chicago. Derek Lilliquist out to visit with the left-handed hitting Brad Miller coming up.
7 walks for Brebbia since his recall, and 2 of them back-to-back in this inning.
Miller against right-handed pitching this year. 186. All told this season, he has more walks than he does hits.
No place to put Brad Miller. .206 this year in this spot with a grand slam.
First pitch taken low and outside. Ooh, just missed. 2-0. .15 pitches, 10 have been balls. The 2-0 pitch by Brebbia. 2-1.
Can't allow a free pass. You have to make him hit his way on. There's risk, but you have to.
2-2.
That may have been ball 3.
Back in the 7th, the difference in this game. Ball that was so close for Dexter Fowler to potentially get just out of his reach. 2 solo home runs hit by the Rays. Two. Struck him out. Rays strand the bases loaded. Top of the lineup coming up for St. Louis in a 2-1 game. Outstanding Rick Horton here today.
Really good with everything that he did. Had the good fastball, 96, 97. Threw a lot of sliders that were tough to square up down in the zone. The strikeouts at 8. 101 solid pitches for Chris Archer.
Now the lefty Dan Jennings is in for Tampa Bay. Really tough on left-handed batters. Hitting just 191 against him, only 1 extra base hit. That was a 3-run homer back on May 30th. Outside of that, very good against lefties.
And when you say the lefty, he is the lefty. Only one in the bullpen, and that's problematic in my mind. When do you use him?
There's Peter Borges in left field. 2-1 our score. Carpenter is struck out, flied out, and grounded out. Tommy Pham at the on-deck circle, and then Paul DeYoung. They do have a right-hander getting loose in the pen, and you wonder if it's just a one-man appearance with Steve Cishek getting loose.
I think there's a good chance of that.
Carpenter with a high fly ball out to right. This ball is gone. We're tied. 2-2. Carpenter, the drive into right. There's life here at Busch.
Great moment for Matt Carpenter versus the lefty, the only batter he faces. Lynn can't lose, Archer can't win.
Give you those numbers with the lefty Jennings. So good against left-handed batters. He faces one, and we are tied. Late inning magic again by St. Louis. Last night's hero coming up in a 2-2 game. Home run to tie the game 2-2. Steve Cishek, the former Cardinal, has been nasty with Tampa Bay, but there's life now again at Busch Stadium. All the runs scored via the home run on both sides. Here's a 1-0. It's slider that starts out at a right-handed batter and snaps back in the zone.
I'll bet it feels like it's behind you, not only at you, but even behind you. He had some good moments with the Cardinals. Cishek did.
Well, when he was right, he was unhittable. Former closer in Miami, closed a little bit with Seattle.
I think speed passes fastball seems a little bit quicker than a normal 91-92 because of where he's throwing it from.
Pham. Line out to first. Rays have had 4 relievers that have had a 30+ save season. Colomé currently at 38, career high. Boxberger was a closer at one point as recent as 2015. He had 41. Cishek had 39 with Miami in 2014, and Sergio Romo was the closer with the Giants in 2013. Here's Paul DeYoung. Nobody getting loose in the Cardinals' pen. So even if you would go up by a run, the option, at least for the moment, would be Brebbia.
I think a good option.
DeYoung with a base hit into left. It shows you, though, the state of the Cardinals' pen, because if you had the quote-unquote closer, he's up right now. That's Rosenthal.
Well, exactly. Now, the other guy that might get up if the Cardinals do score and you go out to the 9th inning is Tyler Lyons. For left-handers, especially for Morris and Dickerson's out of the game right now, but even Kiermaier, I'm sure he will get up if the Cardinals do score here, just in case.
So here's Dexter Fowler, base hit into center back in the 4th. If you're going to get to Cishek, you would think it has to come from left-handed batters. That slider that can dip right into their zone.
You
throws that cement mixer. You never know.
You can go back 50 years. Every pitcher that throws like Cishek does, the common theme: left-handers are tougher, harder to get the ball inside on a left-handed batter. You're not going to fool him quite as much. He sees it coming towards him. And as a right-hander, you're hiding the baseball. For a left-hander, you're showing them the baseball when you throw from the side.
Fowler calls time. You'd think he would drive a pitcher crazy with his good batting eye. Late situations, works a count. And he goes. Strikeout of Fowler. And the batter will be Molina.
There's the delivery we're talking about, the sidearm. So difficult to see for a right-handed batter because it's coming from a severe angle, but the lefty again sees it and can pick up the spin much easier.
Here's Yadier Molina. Ball to Young, your runner at first base. How rare is it that Dan Jennings would give up a home run to a lefty? First appearance of his career. He's allowed a home run to the only batter he faced. That's 296 career appearances. One ball, one strike on Yadier Molina.
Going through my Rolodex of 60 or 70 home runs I gave up to see if I ever did that. I can't remember. Probably.
You had a lot of appearances.
Maybe a few times.
It happens. Move on.
That's what we do.
Here's a 1-1 pitch, outfield deep. Molina, base hit to left center. DeYoung on his way to third. And look who's coming up.
That's such a tough pitch to hit and see it's away from him. And Yadi just keeps his head on it and drives it into center. Good base running by DeYoung. And now do you wish you had two left-handers in your bullpen?
Wong has walked and hit a long home run. One of the hottest hitters currently in baseball.
It's the guy you want up right now.
You bet. Runners at the corners. And 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Ball 1 to Wong. Sometimes you see a closer or a guy like Cishek, anybody in this spot. It's got a good slider. Cook one. Put it in the dirt. You got a wild pitch.
Well, the ones you love if you're on the offensive side is the ones he overcooks.
A ball and a strike.
I think your point, Dan, in this situation, you try to be extra special nasty. And that often produces that, or can produce that errant pitch. Carlos Marmol, perhaps?
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Molina will take second base, and a ground ball that Miller gloves and makes the play. The Cardinals tie it up. Jennings in to face Carpenter. Launches a home run. It's 2-2. game. John Brebbia pitching his second inning of work here in the ninth.
Such a example of perseverance in his career. Brebbia is. You work and you work and you work and you find yourself in a game that's very meaningful, in a tie game late with playoff implications perhaps down the road. A win today would be huge for the Cardinals, and such a change for him over the last couple of years. But it's his hard work and staying with it. He wanted to quit a few times and he didn't.
Sure, he wondered, is anybody watching what I'm doing? I'm getting better and better and better. Does anybody else see it?
What was your first thought when you heard that John Brebbia was the guy being called up to the Cardinals?
Who?
That was mine. I literally had never heard of him.
1-2 on Sucre. What's a credit to the Cardinals front office and those that scour, the waiver wire and minor league free agents. Take a chance on something a scout will tell you. I've had a few of those. If you're going to be a winning club, you got to have a few of those too. Diamonds in the rough. 1-2 pitch. And the 2-2. Hit out of play. Cardinals looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth. We'll have Piscotty, Garcia, and Brebbia's spot.
Been fitting so far in this game as we're honoring Mike Shannon and the get up baby alarm clock that everybody has, that we've had 4 solo home runs in this game.
And I called one like Mike Shannon.
Yes, you did, and you might have one in the bottom of the ninth too. Wouldn't that be something?
Rounder that's foul. If you're wondering, the major league record when all the runs scored are solo home runs, that's 8. Second most is 5, and today it's 4. Here's a 2-2. Oh. So the go-ahead run is on.
This just gets away and I think gets him right in the middle of the back, actually in the arm. Suki wasn't happy about it. Certainly wasn't intentional. But again, the leadoff hitter aboard for the Rays.
The bunting spot here with Peter Borges. Sucre does not run well. So see how the Cardinals will play this with a charging Greg Garcia. Could you get that lead man?
I think that's what you're hoping for. Borges should be bunting this to first if he's bunting.
And the 1-0. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sucre has got about a 3 or 4 step lead at first base. So if it's bunted to third, Garcia would have a shot, you would think. That's if he's bunting. He's shown no indication of bunting in this spot. Good play by Yachty.
This is the one you're talking about being overcooked. It's okay to overcook it if you've got somebody that can clean it up like Yachty can.
Two and 1 the count.
Tuivalala getting loose for St. Louis.
Sergio Romo in the bullpen for the Rays. The 2-1 pitch. Out of play, 2-2.
Brebbia took a long time to deliver that pitch, and I, for one, am glad that C.B. Bucknor did not call timeout on his own.
It's the strangest thing you've ever seen. You're referring to the time in Boston, most recent road trip, where the home plate umpire called time. Not by the catcher, hitter, or pitcher. Not by any player. The home plate umpire really disrupted the rhythm, we felt, of Brebbia.
And the result was bad after the fact.
Oh, yeah. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Strikeout of Borges. Kiermaier is 2 for 4 with a double and a single. It was in the first and the fifth. And the first pitch taken inside for a ball. His season high in pitches is 37. He went 3 innings against the Mets. He's at 31. And the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike.
This is really good for John Brebbia's career to get these kind of experiences pitching in the 9th inning of a tie game. And of course, you hope it turns out well and it ends up being a good experience, but he's earned it. I think he's earned it by how he's pitched in this 6th inning at first, then the 7th, then the 8th, and here he is, the 2-2 game.
The 5th time this year he's been above 30 pitches, so not foreign territory to him. The 2-1 by Brebbia. Yanked down the right field line and foul. Had him way out in front. 2-2. Tampa Bay started 3 games back in the wild card of the American League. 2-2 in the air, left center. Pham. Oh, he caught it. What a catch by Tommy Pham. Maybe a game saver.
Pham goes a long way to get this ball and cuts in front of Dexter Fowler and reaches out as far as he can reach out, and that's on the end of his glove. Fans loving that. Cardinal fans appreciate defense as much as any fans I've seen in baseball across the country. I mean, everybody does, but Cardinal fans really do.
Boy, what a catch. Full speed and didn't reach out until that final second. Here's Steven Souza Jr. And there's strike 1. Cardinals in the wild card of the National League, 5 back. 4.5 out in the Central, currently 4 after the loss by Chicago. And the 0-1 pitch. 0-2. 40,000 plus here at Busch. One and two. Colome and Romo, two right-handers, loose and ready. 1-2 the count. Struck him out. Great work by Brebbia. With a little help from Tommy Pham. 2-2. Center field. Will it carry out of here? It is gone! Home run, and the Cardinals win it.
Fly ball into left, and he can't get to it out there. And the Cardinals are going to win this one, and a celebration.
Bam, a drive, left center. Let's go on home. Walk off. Tommy Pham. Cardinals win it. Maybe some more late inning magic here for the Cardinals in a walk-off variety against Tampa Bay. Cardinals have had 2 walk-off homers this year, and both have come against American League teams. Last night and Matt Carpenter's grand slam against Toronto. Our Chevy called to the pen. Sergio Romo, he had the very good slider. Here's Stephen Piscotty. There's the slider. Cardinals lead the all-time series against the Rays 8-7. All 3 home wins are the walk-off variety. Ludwig, Schumacher, and Pham last night. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And it's 0-2. 2 sliders to Piscotty. He's 0 for 3 tonight with a couple of strikeouts and also popped out.
We've seen this a couple of times from Steve, and the bad balance on the lower part of the body just giving way, and the swing being kind of a flailing swing instead of driving the ball, and pitch out of the zone. That's what happens.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. To right-handed batters, he throws the slider 56% of the time. Piscotty here, then Greg Garcia, and a pinch hitter. We're in the bottom of the 9th of a 2-2 game. Here's a 1-2. Romo has allowed a career high 9 home runs, 7 of the 9 to right-handed batters. And the 2-2 pitch. From 0-2 to 3-2. Slider again. What do you think?
You would think so. He's going to be throwing at 2-2. You think he'd throw at 3-2, and the hope is that he hangs it. And the other hope is that Stephen Piscotty is patient and doesn't chase.
Over 4 with 3 strikeouts. It brings in Garcia. He is doubled and single.
It's a pretty good slider, but a pitch that Steven could have handled perhaps. It was in the middle of the plate, and he just pulled off it just a little bit. Had a pretty good swing at it, but came up empty.
The slider against a lefty, it drops to 30% of the time. More fastballs against a left-handed batter, as you might imagine. Ray Garcia with 2 home runs this season. And there's strike 1. Randall Grichuk is moved to the on-deck circle. That would leave Jose Martinez and Carson Kelly the available position players for the Redbirds. 0-1 pitch. Showing bunt. 1 ball, 1 strike.
We talked about some players are good bunters and some aren't. I think Garcia is a good bunter. We've seen him deaden the ball very well, and not a bad idea to show it at least. Line drive into the Cardinals bullpen would be fine.
That'd be fine too. That'll work too. Base hit, winning run is on. And that'll be fine.
3-hit day for Garcia. Who was that just said that? You have so many voices, Dan. I just can't keep them straight.
Well, you would think it'd be slider after slider to Randall Grichuk. Hang one and send us home. All kinds of room on the right side of the infield. The slider and strike 1.
We've seen Grichuk lately take a couple balls the other way. I mean, that's not what the Rays are concerned about. They're concerned about him hitting the ball out of the ballpark. They know his power, but we've seen him take pitches right to that vacant second base area a couple of times in the last 2 weeks. Now would be a good time for another.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Randall Grichuk. Popped up to the screen and got 4 rows deep in the green seats. Two strikes. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Randal Grichuk. A 2-2 game here in the bottom of the ninth. Garcia, the winning run at first base. Outfield extremely deep. That's the type of pitch you think if he could stay within it, take that pitch to right with all that room on the right side of the infield.
I think that was the intent. There's the room we've been talking about. You got the first baseman holding on, Garcia, and you've got 3 loaded up on the left side. You basically have the entire right side of the infield. And a base hit, Garcia, if it's not hit too hard, can go first to third. Good arm in right. Cardinals would take it either way.
2-2. Matt Carpenter sent us to the ninth thanks to his home run with a 2-2 game. He's on deck. The 2-2. 3-2.
Boy, you'd be tempted to send Garcia. You worry about the strikeout of Grichuk. We talked about the caught stealing percentage, not great for the catcher. What will Mike Matheny decide? I think I would send him. Create some stress.
Not running. Struck him out.
And a good thing.
So 2 outs, and here's Carpenter.
So slider after slider, then you get the fastball, and you're just not expecting it. Tied him up. Probably would have been ball 4.
Carpenter with a home run off of Dan Jennings, their lone lefty in their pen, back in the 8th. His 17th of the year. The Rays, if we get to the 10th, would have Longoria leading things off. Then Morrison and the pitcher's spot. Think about an offensive home run that ties a game or wins it, or play like Pham that keeps you tied too. And he's on deck. This is back in the 8th inning, and Matt Carpenter, this home run into the Cardinal bullpen. There's strike 1.
You know, Matt's a streaky guy. We know that about him. Doesn't need the home run here, but if he hits the right gap, love to see a play at the plate in the bottom of the 9th. I'm not sure it gets any better than that. I like the home run too to walk off, but I like the play at the plate. Probably a little better.
It was game 1 of a doubleheader that Matt Carpenter sent a grand slam over the wall, and Cardinals took game 1 against the Toronto Blue Jays. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Carpenter. Instead, another check on Garcia. Rays have had 5 walk-offs go against him this year. 16 and 21 in one-run games. They've been playing a lot of tight, important games here lately. 34, their last 43 have been decided by 3 runs or less. It's very similar to the Cardinals, too.
Agreed.
The Memphis Redbirds win again today. 86 wins, 42 of those coming on the road, which sets the all-time record for them. What a year they have had. 0-2 the count here on Matt Carpenter.
He's been staying away from Matt Carpenter. Concerned about that pitch in that might be yanked out of the ballpark. Will he stay away again or try inside?
Then we got the catcher on the knee, so home plate umpire C.B. Buckner giving him a little chance to recoup.
Ouch. Not so sweet for Sucre.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Is he worried about Greg Garcia running? No. But he wants to make sure that Garcia doesn't cheat and get that extra big lead and be in a position to score on a double by Carpenter. That's what that's all about.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Garcia running, and it's fouled back.
Maybe you should have been worried about him running.
Had a pretty good jump.
He did. And that's maybe part of the really slow delivery by Romo. And that's how Romo pitches. He has to develop. He has to get in his motion that deception that comes from the high leg kick. And I think that's part of the issue of
that's a good point.
Him being concerned about holding the runner. And that's really a second thought for mine. The first was the double. But this, I think, is probably what's going on. He's had a history of maybe having issues with that. So keep the runner close.
The 1-2 pitch to Matt Carpenter. Extra innings coming up in a 2-2 game.
5 for the Cardinals as we go to extras at Busch Stadium. 2-2 is our score. Game number 27 for Tui. Very healthy 2.67 ERA in his 30 innings of work. And he is, like most right-handers, better against right-handers than lefties. And he will have Longoria, Morrison, and the pitcher spot.
Tampa Bay has lost 2 straight in extra innings when they've been in the extra frames, and the Cardinals have not played an extra inning game, hard to believe, but since June 27th.
It is hard to believe. With so many close games, as you mentioned, in August and late July.
First pitch, fly ball. Center field, Longoria, 1 pitch, 1 out. Catch made by Fowler. We are in the 10th of a 2-2 game, and it brings in Logan Morrison. Ricky, this is what we talked about a few innings ago. If you got to extra innings, you would not have Corey Dickerson. Remember when they pinch hit for him, and it was kind of mix and match on both sides.
Well, you forced Mike Matheny forced him to basically waste a player, waste a bench player with the move that he made. Espinosa recently joined the team. Danny Espinosa, switch hitter, is in the on-deck circle, so he'll bat for Romo, and now you're just down to Ramos, the other catcher. Cardinals side, they have Kelly and Jose Martinez left.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Drilled out to right center. Well hit. Morrison puts Tampa Bay back on top. It's now 3-2. 31st of the year. 2 in this game. Another solo home run. 3-2 Tampa Bay.
Been a game of solo home runs, and Morrison with 2 of them. Pitch down and away. Really good swing, finish, very smooth, and just about the same spot. Maybe pulled just a tad more as the last one. Cardinals are going to have to play catch up again in extras.
There's Danny Espinosa. Third multi-home run game this year for Morrison, 7th of his career. 411 feet. Distance of that home run is 2nd of the day. All the runs scored today via the home run. One and 2 the count.
Well, no question, that's the guy you're most worried about in this inning, is Morrison. The guy you just can't make a mistake to right now, although when he came into this series, we talked about it in game 1, he had been 0 for his last 15 coming into this series.
It's a foul ball.
Cardinals will have Pham, DeYoung, and Fowler.
17-9 record when hitting 3 or more home runs. They've lost, though, the last 6 straight. And a swing and a miss. Out number 2. Cardinals still will have Tommy Pham coming up, Paul DeYoung, and Dexter Fowler, so not easy to get through. 2, 3, and 4, as you mentioned. 3-2 our score in the top of the 10th. Adeiny Echeverria.
We might not be playing right now had Pham not made that play in left center, and maybe he can keep us going some more. He saved the game in a sense with his glove already. They'll need his bat in the bottom of the 10th.
0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs and nobody on. One and 2. Fouled back. Echeverria today grounded into a double play, fly to right, grounded out to short. And he also walked, and that was back in inning number 8. Colomé is getting loose in the Tampa bullpen. Pulled sharply to third. Garcia has it and makes the play. Colomé, 38 saves this year. Tommy Pham coming up, along with DeYoung and Fowler. 3-2 Tampa Bay. Pham, a walk-off homer, and in this game, a difference maker with his defense, Rick Horton, in left field.
Deep into left center, and this is with the game on the line. Runner on first base. This could be a double, could be a run, could be trouble, but it's not. It's an out. That's Tommy Pham. Good closing speed right on the end of his glove. Does he have more magic for us on this Sunday afternoon? A beautiful day at Busch Stadium, but it'll be much nicer if the Cardinals can get to Colomé, the reliever, who has been very, very tough. 38 saves on the season in 43 attempts. We've seen him once in this series already. Throws very hard and has a good slider. The horse.
So Pham leads it off. Then DeYoung and Fowler. Cardinals down by a run here in the bottom of the 10th. There's that slider. Good late movement. One pitch.
That's a hard slider too. 91. More like a cutter, but it does have the slider downward tilt.
Pham had a base hit back in the 6th inning. Inside corner, 1-2. Extra innings this year. The closer 6 2/3, 5 runs allowed. And the 1-2. Pham to center. Kiermaier. One away.
Rally caps. Let's hope they work.
He's allowed 3 home runs this year. Paul DeJong 1 for 4 with a single back in inning number 8. The shift on for the Cardinals shortstop. 1 ball and 1 strike. Shadows with his sun peeking through the clouds, now becoming a little bit of a factor here at the plate.
As if it's not difficult enough to hit this right-hander.
And the 1-1 pitch. 1-2. That's how you do it, Dad. Let me show you.
You're never too old to learn. That way works for you. This looks better on me. Okay.
Here's a 1-2 and 2 down. And the final hope for the Cardinals, Dexter Fowler with 2 outs and nobody on here in the bottom of the 10th.
Well, I'm hoping, Dan, that you have one more get up baby call in you. Dexter's in his power side.
And he looks at strike 1. Colomé, you look at the delivery, funky with his feet at the beginning. Outfield very deep. 3 infielders on the right side. And the Cardinals now down to their final strike.
Well, whatever he does with his delivery, with his feet, the closed stance, it works. Looking for his 39th save.
And Fowler stays alive. He's just got that little hesitation. Stop and then starts.
And you normally teach pitchers to step back away from the plate. He's stepping back towards first base. Really just a trigger to get him moving. Not a big step, just enough to get going.
One and 2. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Dexter Fowler. 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Well, Tampa Bay comes in. They take 2 of 3. They win this one in 10 innings by the final of 3-2.
Tough pitching on the Rays side. Good start from Chris Archer. Good finish by their closer. And in a game of home runs, the Cardinals come up 1 short.
It's off to the post-game show. Logan Morrison with 2 home runs, including that one in the top of the 10th. Proved to be the game winner. 3-2 our final. Post-game next.